So, under Dominique Ducharme, the Habs have been playing much better. Look, I know it's up and down, it's still a roller coaster, but overall they've been playing better under Ducharme than they were under Claude Julien. Now, keep in mind, this is being recorded before Hockey Night in Canada, Jets versus Habs, so it's possible the Habs get blown out 7-1 tonight. And I know Habs fans are starting to get a little bit frustrated, and I want to make a video in the near future. What do the Habs need? But in order to do that, I need to get Habs fans' perspectives. Make sure you comment down there. But one big gaping hole that I'm noticing for the Montreal Canadiens, it's a big star, okay? And look, stars aren't just to sell jerseys, to sell tickets. No. Stars are stars because the NHL is a superstar league, and you need one to win. Of course, you've got your exceptions. You've got the St. Louis Blues in 2019. There wasn't one clear superstar. Vegas Golden Knights in 2018 making it to the Stanley Cup final. Not a clear superstar. But those are exceptions, not the rule. To teams like Chicago, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, Duncan Keith. LA with Kopitar, Doughty. Pittsburgh, obviously, Crosby, Malkin. These are the rule. And you need to try and follow it. If you're the Montreal Canadiens, it's been far too long since you've had a true superstar, let alone a superstar centerman, okay? Like, I'm thinking the likes of Alex Kovalev, maybe? But, who's really been a number one awesome superstar pillar center for the Montreal Canadiens? I mean, who was the last one? The last time the Habs went on a deep cup run in 2014, they made to the third round against the Rangers when Price got injured by Chris Kreider. If you ask me, if Kreider doesn't run into Carey Price there, the Habs make it to the Stanley Cup final. Their de facto number one center on that team was David Desharnais. Yeah. And look, that was when Carey Price was playing out of his mind, okay? The very next year, he won the Hart Trophy as a goaltender, and he had just come off winning Olympic gold and being awesome. And this is when he was being regarded as the best goaltender in the world. So it's not like the Habs haven't had any superstars, okay? Carey Price, PK Subban, maybe when he was winning his Norris and around that time, he could be considered a superstar. But that was more his brand, not really just his play on the ice, but the whole personality and the brand of PK Subban. But the last time they had a guy akin to Jack Eichel or even Taylor Hall. I know Taylor Hall is sucking right now. He's not playing very good at all. But when Taylor Hall wants to play, check out his Hart Trophy season. And look, he didn't win a Hart Trophy on the Chicago Blackhawks alongside Patrick Kane feeding him the puck every night. Okay, no. Or with the Oilers with Draisaitl and McDavid. No, he won it on the New Jersey Devils. He carried that team on his back and brought them to the playoffs that year. So when Taylor Hall wants to be, he can be a true superstar. And right now, it's seeming like that's what the Habs need. I don't know. I mean, give me your take, Habs fans, but I mean, Suzuki might get there one day. You might have a guy in Cole Caufield who could maybe do that in the future here, but it's looking to me like you need a superstar. And we know in 2018 when John Tavares was a free agent and ended up signing with the Toronto Maple Leafs that the Montreal Canadiens, they tried hard for Tavares and he wanted nothing to do with the Montreal Canadiens. And maybe it's a good thing because I don't think he would have been a great fit on the Habs. And also they were in on Matt Duchene when he ended up signing with the Nashville Predators. And it's looking right now like that was a bullet dodged by the Montreal Canadiens. A good move for Duchene not to go with the Habs. And yes, of course, the Habs can try to build their team like a St. Louis or like a Vegas to be the exception of the rule. But I think if they want to be consistent cup contenders every single year, you need to have a number one guy you can lean on. I know it's cliche, but faces of the franchise are absolutely necessary in the NHL. You need a face of the franchise. But for the Habs right now, it's really a question of who and how, okay? Because these guys don't grow on trees, okay? You can't just go to the dollar store and find yourself a Connor McDavid. No, that's not how this works, man. So you really got to get lucky, okay? And most of them are found through the draft. Maybe once every blue moon you'll find one in free agency. And even when one does come in free agency, I know it's a bit different because he's a defenseman, but Erik Karlsson, that ends up being one of the worst contracts ever. he signs with the San Jose Sharks. So you really got to be careful with these superstars when they hit the open market. And I know right now your mind is probably going to one guy in particular. It's Mr. Jack Eichel. The rumors is that he requested a trade. I know the GM came out yesterday and said no, he did not request a trade. But this is kind of fishy because Victor Mete and Sam Bennett both reportedly asked for a trade. And then the teams, both of them the next day came out and said, oh, no, that's not true. And Elliot Friedman has reported on all three of these, and I really trust him. So something fishy a little bit is going on there. But Jack Eichel, if you want him, Habs fans, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that the Habs have a very deep prospect pool that they could start selling in these big boy trades like this. You've got guys like Poehling, like Jaden Struble, like Matthias Norlinder, and even guys who've been playing like Kotkaniemi. I don't think they'd touch Suzuki, but Caufield maybe. Again, I'd be very careful touching Caufield because he's looking like he's going to be a really good player. But they have a deep prospect pool. The bad news is the very same thing. Are you sure it's worth it if you give maybe 2 or 3 if the draft pick that you inevitably have to put in that trade? What if that player turns into a star? Don't forget guys like Pasternak. David Pasternak went like 24th overall to the Boston Bruins. Not to mention guys like Henrik Zetterberg, Johnny Gaudreau, who go in the 4th to 7th round, Daniel Alfredsson. So you do have to be careful. I know that's rare, but that's the bad news is when you're swinging for the fences trying to hit a home run with a superstar like Jack Eichel, dude, there might be some backlash in terms of the players going the other way there. But on the other hand, you also have to look at it this way. Look at Alex Galchenyuk. He was a young kid, 3rd overall. He went so high. Habs fans were trying to groom him to become, honestly, the next Habs superstar. But could you imagine if Bergevin would have said, oh, we'll keep Galchenyuk as a project. He will turn into a star. No, that would have been bad. And he ships Galchenyuk out for 2 solid seasons of Max Domi. And then now, I know he's injured, but Josh Anderson looks amazing. So sometimes you do have to pull the trigger on these types of trades. And then, again, I already mentioned Taylor Hall. There's a fair bit of risk involved in that one. And there's another guy I want to mention to end off this video. It's the guy this channel is named after, Mr. Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau, my favorite player of all time. And look, we've all heard the rumors. They've been there for over a year now that he probably is going to sign with the Philadelphia Flyers, blah, 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 this and that. But the Montreal Canadiens, I think Gaudreau, even though he's a winger, is the type of player that could really help the Habs, especially in Suzuki's development as a center, to have a guy who can ride shotgun with him and who can help him put up a ton of offensive numbers, raise his confidence to say, hey, okay, I can be a good two-way center, but I can also put up really good offensive numbers. I think that would be super beneficial for the Habs. Now, the reason I would be a bit less keen on Johnny Gaudreau if I was the Habs is because the number one thing, if you're Montreal, that you'd be looking for is to try to get a number 1 center, okay? And it also, again, depends how much faith you have in Suzuki and maybe Kotkaniemi as emerging as a true, legit number 1 center. But that's why I'd be more on the Jack Eichel train, but who knows what's going on there. So this should be a very interesting few months for the Montreal Canadiens because, again, we know Bergevin's not afraid to do whatever it takes to get his team to go deep in the playoffs this year, okay? This isn't a futures project here. Bergevin wants this team competing and competing hard now. So, Habs fans, who would be on your list? Okay, because we know they need some scoring punch right now. Who would be on your list? It doesn't necessarily have to be a big superstar, okay? But that's just what I think they need. I think there's a hole in terms of star power for Montreal, and it's been there for a while. And I mentioned it earlier, but it doesn't hurt when you can have a guy who everybody wants to buy his jersey, everybody wants to buy tickets. I know you can't buy tickets right now, but for the sake of argument in the future, everybody wants to buy tickets to see this one guy. Like, do you think Edmonton Oilers fans, they buy tickets so they can watch Alex Chason? Do you think they buy tickets so they can watch Jujhar Khaira? No, it's number 97. It's number 29. So, just something to think about, some food for thought, Habs fans. Let me know what you think. If you like this type of content, like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one.